Hello!
Hey everybody!
This is
Randall.
and Scarlett.
We are here with enjoying the moment. How are you doing? We are doing great.
It's a nice rainy day outside.
It is a rainy day, and as you can see, we got our little halo light. Oh, let me see if I can grab it.
No, there we go. Oh, see, now I'm an angel.
Angel. Or we can hold it up.
Oh, that's weird. It's just sitting in that palm tree. Don't mind it. No, you know what you should do? You should go back and watch all of our old videos and see if the ring light.
Ooh, is it there? Is it not?
So
Yeah, technology, right? We use what we got. So
back to the reason, the
if
topic.
not, it'd be really dark right up in here in our faces.
We could show you, but it's too far away. But let's get started with the topic today. One of our foundations, our pillars, our beliefs at enjoying the moment is getting your finances under control. And so we wanted to dig in a little bit deeper, but like this is the basics. This is like finance 101. Everybody needs a budget. We didn't plan that.
So you gotta have a budget. So today we're gonna talk about your finances and a budget, what that is. We're gonna talk a little bit about that and just how important it is to your family. So this is one of them that will help you. Trust me. So don't turn it off. Don't tune away.
You need this.
Don't tune away.
Even people that don't think they need this, you need this.
Yeah.
So will you start out by telling us why it's so important?
Why? Well, I sure is. I don't know why I just went like that, but
okay.
Yeah. Why a budget's so important. So if you don't have a budget, let me put it this way. No plan equals no money. Boom.
Eek.
There it is. No plan equals no money. What you want to do basically is if you don't have a budget, then your money is in control of you. You're not in control of it. And let's just face it, I don't like it when other things are in control of me.
I like to have control.
Yeah. So if you having a budget gives you that control and gives you that freedom. So a lot of people will sit there and be like, "Oh, the budget talk." But really, if you keep it simple and you do it, make it consistent, it will provide so much freedom in your life, in your family's life, in your marriage. Because if you don't, it leads. We've said it before, money fights happen all the time in a marriage. They're going to happen whether you have a great, awesome marriage or whether you've got just a struggling marriage. And
money just is, it's just part of life.
It's a topic, it's what we deal with, it's how we live and stuff. So, of course it's going to be important, right? And then also, finances, your money is one of the leading causes of divorce in America. Is money fights and money problems. So, that's why it is that important. And one way to avoid the issue is by having a budget. So,
you want to tell us, like, what if somebody's on here and they're like, I've heard about a budget. I know that people say I should have one, but what exactly? Sometimes it's, when you just hear the word, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
When we don't do it the right way, when he says, I got to do the budget, it can be a little scary. It's like, oh.
And then at the end of the budget, I'm going back on.
Yeah, because there are right ways and wrong ways, or smarter ways and less efficient ways to do a budget. So just basic, what would you say a budget is?
So basically a budget breakdown is this. It is having a written plan for your money. Your take-home pay, when you're getting a paycheck, is having a plan for what you're doing with that money. So it's taking what, and we call it a budget, but really the real term we should be saying is it's a monthly budget. So you're not planning, you're not doing it a year in advance, you're doing it month by month. The more you do it, the easier it gets and the quicker it gets. But it is for that month. It's basically saying, okay, what am I bringing home? What are my paychecks going to be like this month? What is mine? If you're married, it's what's my spouse's, and you're putting those together, saying, okay, this is our take-home pay. This is what we're bringing into our house, the money we're making. This is it. What are our expenses? So it's taking your pay, subtracting all your expenses, And then the idea is to have a zero balance at the end. Now, that's saying that you don't, not that you don't have any money, but now you've told all that money where it's going to go.
Even if that is going into savings.
If it's going into savings, correct. Yeah, you're saying, okay, well, this month we're going to budget 10-15%. We're going to put that into our savings account. And so whenever you get your money, then boom, 15% goes into your savings account. So bam, done.
Or it might be, hey, I want my money to go on a shopping spree.
Our favorite little segment in our budget is our blow money. And I'm not talking drugs.
A lot of my friends, though, I was like, oh yeah, I just got my blow money today. They're like, Scarlett, we're in Starbucks. And I'm like, not that.
We don't do that. But no, our blow money is basically we're allotting a month. We're saying, hey, you get this much money, I get this much money, and I can do whatever I want to with it. You know, and no guilt.
Questions asked.
No questions, no guilt. No whatever, you know, it's like, this is my money. I can go blow it all in one day if I want to do it.
This guy likes to save up all his money
yeah.
and buy something big. Me, I like to go just like, oh, it's payday. Yeah. What can we spend it on?
So we have different, everybody's going to be different with it. But the biggest thing is that you're having a plan for it. Because if you don't have a plan for it, then you're going to get to the end of the month with no money and you're going to be like, where'd all my money go? And you're not going to have an idea. You're going to be like, man, I make a lot of money.
And now the electric bills due.
And you're like, I don't have the money.
Oh shoot, I just spent, you might only have part of it. So,
right.
And I grew up in a household where that was, and I say that a lot on here, like I grew up in a household,
household back in my day.
it wasn't a part of our life. It wasn't, we spent, they made, then we spent. And so there were times where the lights would get cut off, or the water would get cut off, or the cable would get cut off. I mean, we learned those tricks like where my dad would like climb up the pole and like switch. Should I say that on here? Scratch
Probably
that.
Probably not, because I know someone who's died from doing that.
Don't do that. I don't even know. I don't even think it's possible to do that anymore. I think that was like back in the day of cable stuff. Anyways, but that's the kind of house that I grew up in, and so money does have like a negative feel to it because like I still feel like that poor little girl growing up, and that there's never enough of it, even when we have plenty. Even when he talks about doing the budget, those feelings that I have growing up, that still rises up in me when it's time for us to talk about it.
Well, and that's a great point, because money is connected to our emotions so tightly. It's like you talk about somebody's money or you talk about their finances and they almost put up a defense wall. It's kind of like, that's mine. We're not talking about that. So there is a lot of emotional connection. Let's face it, you had a bad day and it's like, I need to go buy me a drink to make me feel better. And then
McDonald's sweet tea got me through a lot of moments.
And you didn't have the money to do that. Now all of a sudden you put yourself into debt. You're spending money you didn't have, and now you just create a bigger headache, just for a temporary fix. So money.
Or like if shopping is your therapy, and now you have to come home and you're just hoping that the husband doesn't do the budget anytime soon to notice that you spent that money, so it can cause that friction in your marriage too.
It can really cause some problems, and there's been relationships of where the other spouse has gone and bought credit cards and got credit cards and trying to hide it from the other one, and so now you're living these parted lives, and it all comes back down to your emotions and your money. So a budget is basically just having that game plan. So it's sitting down, you're taking your income, what are we making, and then you're subtracting your expenses. We are Christians, so our first things that we do is we tithe off of what we get. We budget it. We say, okay, we make this month 10%.
From the very top.
10%, okay, done deal. Then we've got our savings. Then we start listing our expenses.
If you had any debt, then that's in there as well.
You're factoring in this, my electric bill, my every bill that you have, your water bills, all your bills, my Netflix bill. You're getting all your memberships. You've got it all spelled out and you got it written out.
Even down to what do you want to spend at the grocery store? We have a plan.
We've got a grocery store budget. We say, okay, this month, this week, we shop personally. We shop once a week on groceries, and we say, okay, this week we're only spending this much. you know, we've got this.
We actually spend quite a bit on groceries just because
We
that's
do.
our choice.
We do, yeah. And that's the freeing thing about it is this is your budget. It's no one else's budget. You create it. You make it fit you. So maybe you want to spend more. You know, that's fine. Tell it where it goes. Then after you do all your expenses, you do all your fun stuff. Maybe it's like, you know what, we really like going out to the movies a lot. So we're going to budget in, you know, X amount of money this month to go to the movies. You know, and then that way, you know, when I run out, you know, I don't go to the movies, you know. So you're kind of budgeting that.
But so often people think, oh, making a budget makes me where I can't do things.
Yeah, no, this is your
but
budget.
It's actually frees you up to do it without any guilt attached to it. So
because the biggest thing is, like we said before, if you don't have this plan, then you're not going to be able to take care of everything. You're going to get to the end of the month and be like, I can't pay this bill, I can't pay that bill, because you didn't have a plan for it. You didn't sit there and spell it out. You might have spent too much on this area, then you should have on this area this month, you know. And so it's really just having that plan at the beginning and then going with it.
And we have something we've created for them, right?
We do, yeah. So, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But
oh, you weren't ready to talk about that right now.
But we're kind of going in order. I want to stay on this before we dive into kind of the solution to the problem. But so this is your plan, right? And this is just an overview of a budget. We can really get into depth and detail, and we're going to do that, not in this video.
Yeah, he has a whole fancy Excel spreadsheet for.
Well, this is for our budget.
People,
you know,
that
so
like that kind of thing.
You can make it as simple as you want, or you can make it as complex, right? But the thing is, as long as you're doing it, it's being consistent. It's doing it every month. Now, as a married couple, you got to do it together. You can't do it separate. You can't have her budget and your budget. You know, you.
There are people that do that, but that's. I mean, that's not what we found works.
Yeah, it does not work well for us. It does not, and we've seen it in many marriage couples. The best thing you can do as a married couple is come together and do a budget. Now, the thing what you're going to find out is one is better at doing all the written parts and stuff like that. One doesn't like it as much. So you pull on each other's strings, right? The easier it gets. Once you have all this spelled out and written out, normally what you would do is before you put in any numbers, make a copy of it. That way next month you've already got the format. It's already done. Mm-hmm. Then all you got to do is pull it out there and do it. You know, and that's if you're doing it in a written form. You know, maybe that works better for you. And we'll talk about the different ways here in just a moment. But the thing is that you're coming together as a married couple and you're talking about it. You're a lot of things that have benefited me, because I'm the nerd. I'm the one who loves the spreadsheets. I love formulating plans and building this elaborate thing. So, you know, I'll kind of create it and then we'll come together and talk about it. I always plug in the things I know we've got. You know, there are certain bills and things, you know, I know my Netflix is always going to be, you know, this much this month. So I've got that factored in, right? But then we come together and it's like, okay, whenever we talk about it, it's like, what else didn't I think about? And she'll be like, oh, the kids have this doctor visit coming up.
Yeah, I'll usually go grab my planner and open it up and be like, oh, we got this coming up this month.
Yeah.
And it is important, even if you don't care about the budget, and you're just the other half of this, show up and at least be interested, because this is your money and you get some input on where it's going. So show up for that. But it does help to have that two different perspectives on, like, okay, we have this coming up this month, we have this birthday coming up, this family members we're celebrating, whatever, and adding that in. But you can't just add it in, because the money doesn't just appear out of nowhere. You gotta fluctuate some things.
Right,
so.
And now that's the way it is. I mean, you got a decrease here and increase here. You know, that's a budget, and that's where a lot of people will miss this. They'll sit there and they'll just spend and spend and spend. They don't have it, and then all of a sudden, what do? They go get a credit card. And then they go get in debt. They go get a bank loan. And all of a sudden now you've done this. Now you've done you're digging it a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's hard to get out. It's so easy to get into debt and so hard to get out of debt. So a budget helps eliminate those headaches. And whenever you don't have those headaches, you have so much less money fights. You have so much less issues, because you know what you're doing. she can go shopping if she wants to go shopping and not have any guilt. You know, I mean,
I'm not much of a shopper, but Amazon.
Yeah, I was just throwing that out as an example.
Amazon, yep.
You start planning that, and you become free. You're in control of your money. You know where it's going. If you come up at the end of your budget after you subtracted what you make from all your expenses, and you still say, "Oh, I got $500 left. Shopping spree." Well, then put that into a shopping spree budget.
Yeah.
So, you know, put it somewhere to where you know, or maybe you get to the end of it. I mean, I recommend, you know, being a finance guy, save it. You know, put it into your savings. But, you know, those will be later talks and stuff. But the thing is that you're telling it where to go. Because if not, all of a sudden it will disappear and you'll be like, where'd it go?
You will nickel and dime it. Like that saying is for real. Like stop
5
here.
10 there, 15 there. I mean, it just goes away and it'll go away quick. So, but that's where the budget helps you. And like I said, it gets easier the more you do it. So you just have to be consistent with doing it.
So when would you say you do a budget? When's the smartest time?
So the best time to do a budget is every month. So every month, but you do it before the month. So normally you want to come together right before the month starts. But I know and you'll know once you start doing it, you know about what you make. And maybe you don't. There's you know, once we get into some deeper budget talks, there are ways to get around that. But if you got somewhat of a steady income, you know what you're making that month, what you're bringing home, so you put that up there. And you don't know your electric bill yet, but you might, after the more you do it, you know, well, this month it's always about this. So you allot amount for that bill. The ones that you don't know the certainty of it, like your DAS, your gas bill, you know, you may not know those, but you know about what they're going to be.
You estimate.
So you estimate that, and then you sit there and you run your numbers. Now, whenever you do get your electric bill, you gotta go in there and you gotta say, okay, well, it wasn't $200, it was $183.92. So you go in there and then you kind of refactor that, and then you just sit there and take the rest of that money and you put that somewhere. It's like, okay, well, now I've got like...
Or you might have to pull it from somewhere if maybe your electric bill was more than you.
Maybe we don't spend so much on groceries this month, you know, or maybe I don't spend this much or something like that. So you kind of readjust it as some of the numbers fine-tune, but you've got a game plan starting out. You know what you're up against. And so that's when you do a budget. You do it at the beginning of the month. Y'all come together, you shake on it, and it's like, this is what we're doing. This is our game plan. We use envelope systems are big. Just sitting there saying, like, your grocery money, you can put those in envelopes and say, okay, here's my cash. Here's, you know, if you're doing it cash. We do virtual envelopes for us. That works well for us. So I've got it on a spreadsheet and I factor it in. So actually we have it.
A Google Doc.
We do a Google Doc of my spreadsheet. That way we both see it and we both can plug in the number and everything. So it works well for us. So that kind of leads into, how do you start?
How do you start?
How do you start?
Because it's not just a simple like you start and then it's easy and you're perfect at it.
It's going to take work, and any finance guy, there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of courses out there, and they'll tell you it's not easy. Well, it's not easy starting out. It becomes easy as you get going. But there's many different ways to do it. So there's paper form. So you can sit there and I've actually we'll provide a link for its free paper form budget. So something simple that you can sit down with you and your spouse and just fill it in. And you can do a paper form every month. We did that for years.
Mm-hmm.
I would have my paper forms and we'd fill them out. And
do it in pencil.
Yeah, do it in pencil. Don't do it in pen. Because you will, like I said, once that electric bill comes in, you know for certain how much it is. And now you're having to erase all the other numbers and refactor them in and stuff. And that was kind of where we finally got, and I got better with Excel and got more nerdy. So,
we could tell you what our electric bill was in 2009 for the month of July. Like, that's how we've been doing this for so long that we can actually go back and track things like that. So.
And it's kind of fun, easy and good.
Were you going to say fun?
Yeah. Kind of see where you were.
It's not
where
really
you were.
fun, but...
So, yeah, not everybody gets into that. But, so you can do a paper form. You know, that is more than fine. And that's an easy way to start. That's an easy way to get going. Sometimes you need that pencil and paper, and that way you can erase, scratch, and this worked, and you're figuring it out together. And then, like I said, each month's going to get easier. Keep doing it, because before long it's going to be like a fine-tuned machine where it's just rolling, and and you're on the same page with each other. It helps your marriage because y'all are on the same page. So that's a written form. There's many other forms out there. There's online forms. There's a lot. Every dollar.
There's an app.
Every dollar. There's apps that you can get. Every dollar is a great app if you want to do that. You can even pay. It's a free app, and then you can pay to where it links to your bank account if you want to do that.
Now that part was a little fun. Like, you get these little circles, and it's what you spent your money on, and then you get to drag it over and put it in the right envelope. That part's kind of fun.
So basically, you're doing the same thing, though. You're creating the budget and everything, and then it copies and rolls it over, and it's an app on your phone. That works well, too. If you're a nerd like me and you like creating spreadsheets, you can do that. There's all kinds of software out there for budgeting. You can make it as simple as you want or as complex as you want. Our hardest thing in a marriage was being able to see it at the same time. So being able to work off the same thing. So that's where we've done the Every Dollar app, and that worked well for us. We chose to do something different. We do more of the Google Doc because I created something that fits us better. So there are just so many different ways out there to do it. The biggest thing is you do it. You got to do it.
And doing it before the money starts to get spent. Because when we find anytime that we let a couple weeks go by, we've already spent what should have got to other things. And so then we have to maneuver and tweak everything to try to make it fit. So getting together beforehand.
Yep. For sure. So you got to do it beforehand, and you got to make it a priority. If not, like, it's too busy and you're like, oh, we missed it. Oh, we should have done that. And then the month starts going by, and then you're out of money, and you're, what do I do?
But plan to not get it right the first month or the second month, maybe the third month. As you keep doing it, it will get easier, and won't take as long when y'all come together to meet and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But it is that important. That's why it had to be one of our first talks on your finances for you, your family, your spouse, your marriage. I mean, it's that important. Hopefully that's helped. Hopefully that's given you some resources too, some things to think about. Like we said, we got a free resource on our website, enjoyingthemoment.com. We'll also put the link here for you.
Yes.
If you want to do the paper form, just start out. There's other free forms out there. I mean, quick Google search. You can find anything that you want, but the biggest thing is to start doing it. There's apps out there. There's software out there. So just find something that works for you. You might try a few different things until you finally find the right one that fits for both of you, for your marriage. And it's like, hey, this is it. This worked. So the biggest thing is don't quit. Keep going, but do it. You got to do a budget.
And then before you leave this video today, go ahead and push the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber of Enjoying the Moment on YouTube. You can head on over to our enjoyingthemoment.com, and it'll prompt you to subscribe there if you're not already subscribing. And all of that is just to ensure that you're getting all of the content that we're bringing to you, all of these resources that we are going to continue to provide. You'll get an email once a week from us hitting one of these top topics, these pillars that we have found to be very important in our family and to help us function at our best.
For sure. We're going to keep diving deeper into it. And budgeting, I know a lot of people are still struggle with that. So we got a lot of other talks coming and a lot of other things that we're hoping is going to help you to where you nail this thing. So
we want you to be successful.
Yes, for sure. Because we know it's that important to you and your family. So keep at it. Keep doing it. You're doing a great job. Don't quit.
And maybe you're a pro. Pass this on to somebody else. Maybe even your adult child or something. Pass it on to them because it's great for someone that's just starting out and needing that little...
and we'll have more talks too on how do we teach our kids how to manage money, stuff like that too. So we got a lot more coming. So listen, love you guys. Keep at it. Be encouraged. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Love you.